Well, YouTube. Of course, I don't know why I always introduce myself saying it's the heir of Carthage, because who else would be making videos on the channel called Heir of Carthage Total War? Wouldn't make much sense, would it? So anyway, I will pointlessly introduce myself. This is the Heir of Carthage, bringing you a video from my Carthage campaign. Alright, I'm going to quit being as sarcastic for a moment. Let's go ahead and get things started up from where we left off. I'm pretty sure that we're going to want to go ahead and attack a rim, and I always say this wrong, a rim and something like that. Yeah, you can tell I haven't really been studying that book that I got to try and learn Latin. I have quite enough on my plate trying to figure out my duties at Walmart. So, anyway, let's get some siege equipment in place here. I think we're going to be in good shape there. And let's see if we go up north. We got our army. Oh, this is the one where I have the gigantic horde of cavalry. And this time I'm not mistaking about having the gigantic horde of cavalry. So these Romans, I'm sure, will be easy prey. Let's see. Yeah, this is not going to be that difficult. I don't know that this battle is really worth showing, but a lot of you probably wouldn't mind seeing the Romans just absolutely getting trampled by a gigantic horde of Carthaginian cavalry, so I guess I'll show it to you. Alright, I am back on the battle map, and for some reason tonight my Fraps is giving me like even lower frame rates than usual, so there must be some annoying process running in the background that I'm not aware of. You know how your computer always manages to do that for you right when you don't want it. But believe it or not, I'm going to bring you all a special treat tonight. I'm going to be passing to you the knowledge of an ancient Carthaginian recipe. It's a recipe for what the Carthaginians called Roman jelly. And how do we make said jelly? Well, you basically get some Romans and you smash the living daylights out of them underneath the hoofs of a lot of Carthaginian horses. And once trampled to proper tenderness and juiciness, you jar it and wait a couple of months, and it'll be perfect. You can see my men there are cheering because they now have this rare delicacy. Of course, in my campaign, it's not so much of a delicacy, as dead Romans are pretty much commonplace. Now, the rest of the Roman army has run off over here. Now, I made some comments in my Napoleon Total War video that some people took exception to, so I'm going to address those now as my horses are running into position. I said that the AI in Total War games is annoying, and I said it was annoying because they would take like basically little crap armies and attack you in 600 different places. And some of you went on to tell me that, oh, that's just right out of the book The Art of War. Okay, well, don't get me wrong, I've never read The Art of War, and I'm sure that the application that that's meant for is like an actual proper guerrilla warfare. The AI in Total War games doesn't properly apply the rules of guerrilla warfare. They apply the rules of annoyance warfare, and that's all they do is annoy the living daylights out of you. Come with ill-trained, ill-prepared armies, whereas in a proper guerrilla war, you actually need some decent tactics, and you have to have some good ideas. You know, you can't just show up with absolute crap and actually expect it to be effective at all. So for those of you who are trying to tell me that the Total War AI uses the Art of War, I have to disagree, because I think that if it actually used the principles from the Art of War, then the AI would probably be a little bit more of a challenge. Like, such as right here, this AI definitely didn't use any proper tactic of war. They just sat there while my horses came in on their flank and absolutely massacred the lot of them. In fact, the Romans will be lucky to have one survivor when this is all said and done. So let's see what happens. Will one Roman make it away? I think they will. Typically, whenever you're trying to run down troops, the computer's troops will kind of just like magically be a little bit faster than your cavalry. Plus, my cavalry are tired from making all this Roman jelly over here. I hope some of you didn't actually think that I was like being for real there. I was being pretty sarcastic. Kind of a stupid joke, but I guess if you followed it, then the joke was on you for the moment. But in any case, here's the pile of dead Romans that the Carthaginians will later come back and collect for their sacred recipe. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of this battle. Let's see these not so surprising battle results here. And blah blah blah, here we go. Yeah, 16 dead Carthaginians to 447 Romans. 2 made it away, and I guess that's appropriate because they need to go back and tell the other people what's about that. Yeah, back on the battle map. Alright, some of you may be wondering why I just made that kind of like depressed sighing noise, or maybe you weren't wondering it and you were just telling me to shut up. Well, whatever the case, I made the noise because I know a lot of you are still enjoying the Carthage campaign, and that's why I'm making it. But to be honest, for me, when I get to this point of a campaign in Rome Total War, I can't quit it fast enough because it just gets so tedious. You see this tiny little Roman nothing army here that's probably like 2 men that ran away from that fight. They'll come back and besiege my city, all 2 of them. And then this little teeny army of minuscule twerps here, they'll come down here and besiege my army. And this is the kind of stuff that just drives me nuts in the end. So a lot of you are wondering why I don't want to go take over Egypt. I mean, look at all the annoying Romans I have around. Why in the world would I want to add some annoying Egyptians to that? In fact, Egypt's, I mean, most undisputedly the most annoying faction on this game. But I guess if you all want me to keep the Carthage campaign going for a while, I'll do it. So you better make sure to thank me, because this is definitely not what I would prefer to be doing, but hey, you know, whenever you live in a capitalist society, you got to give the people what they want. And YouTube is pretty capitalistic in the fact that people can view your videos, and if they don't like it, then they'll be pretty vocal about it. And that's okay. I appreciate your opinion as viewers. I'm not trying to run you down, I promise. I like giving you what you want, but also at the same time I like making things that I enjoy. And I'm not saying that I don't enjoy the Carthage campaign at all, but there's just not a whole lot left in it for me. So let's train some troops here. I'm going to retrain the troops that are here, and then I'm going to start training a couple of units. And I think we're going to go take over Tripolitania, which is something we should have done a long time ago. Looks like I can't train hardly any decent troops here. Well, I mean, I can train like super good troops, but I'm looking to train like quick and cheap. Oh well, Sacred Band will do. It's not like they're not going to be any good. Looks like I need to put this city on auto-manage. I know I have a bunch of generals here, and some people are going to be like, how come you don't take them over to Italy? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm too lazy. And a lot of you ask me why I let all these pirates stay out here in my land. I don't know. Again, I'm too lazy, and I guess I'm just trying to show them decent hospitality. If they attack me or get on my nerves, you better believe that they're going down in a most inhumane fashion. So, but I'll tolerate their presence, even though they're messing up my income. But as you can see, I'm pretty much exceedingly wealthy at this point on the campaign, and I'm not too worried about it. So anyway, enough of my jabbering. Let's get to some fighting here.
Mighty General.
Looks like oh, wait a minute, I haven't ended a turn yet. Yeah, that's why that siege equipment isn't ready. Well, let's go ahead and end the turn. How about it? Alright, here we go. Okay, so the Romans are demanding a ceasefire. They're also demanding that I give them a couple of settlements and 64,000 denarii. You know, I kind of think they're right. I think I should. I think it'd be the right thing to do. Not. Idiots. I mean, honestly, what kind of diplomacy was that? That diplomacy must have come straight from the book of current politicians, because only current politicians in today's world could be so stupid as to demand something like that. The Romans are attacking me at Arim. I hate saying that word. Just forget it. They're attacking me at that city right there that starts with an A. I don't feel like trying to pronounce it. And it looks like their faction leader's probably there, because he's got like 100 stars next to his picture. And the balance of power, of course, is going to show in their favor. And I'm not going to lie, that general's unit is probably going to be fairly difficult to take out. I set up the battlefield. I prepared something for your entertainment here. Not only is this a noob box, or at least a noob semicircle, it is also not necessarily corner camping either, but it's line camping. And not only that, it's on an enormous like grade. So I'm going to show you kind of a really cheap and entertaining tactic that you can use on the computer. And because the computer annoys the living daylights out of me with their crappy attacks and crappy armies, and the fact that they can have like enormous crap armies and not be affected by the upkeep cost, I sometimes do things like this to the computer just for payback. So if the AI wants to be incredibly annoying, then I'll return the favor. Anyway, the Romans are now marching up this gigantic hill where I formed my noob semicircle, or noob half of a conic section, if you want to get really specific into this, I guess. Anyway, we should probably go ahead and let the pikes down on my pointy line, and it pretty much is going to make an impenetrable barrier of spears. The weakest point of this new box, of course, is my Libyan spearmen who are on the flanks, but they're in guard mode, and so they're not going to be broken through very easily. Now, the best thing the Romans could do here is actually pull up and throw their pillar at me, and they might do that. Sometimes the computer's good about throwing pillar, and other times they just charge right in a kind of an Empire Total War-like mob mentality. But I think they actually addressed some of those issues on Empire Total War. I played Empire the other day to see, and it did seem like the AI had some of the better qualities that the Napoleon AI has. There you go, the Romans threw a few pila, killed a couple of my men, but they're at such like a terrible slant that they're going to be less than effective when fighting my men. There goes the enemy general. The enemy general was demonstrating for his men how not to get speared in the face. And they learned an important lesson, and they learned it so well that they're now going to run away. At which point, I'm going to teach my cavalry an important lesson of how to, you know, stab a man in the back when he's running away. It's a very noble lesson, something that only the most noble people should learn. Stabbing in the back's definitely an ancient art. Of course, there's a lot of sarcasm being thrown around right at the moment. So here's my Carthaginian cav coming in with their cool helmets, their spears, and we're gonna run down all of these Romans. I love like all of the crunching, like beetle squishing type noise that Rome Total War plays whenever the carnage is going on. It literally sounds like you're squashing a bunch of bugs, which I guess in this case is pretty much the equivalent. You know, the Romans have their nice little crunchy armor there and soft insides, so I guess we could equate them to bugs. And here comes the remainder of the Roman forces. I'm going to have to cut this video off soon. I'm running out of time. So I'm going to run my horses back up into my noobish area. And then I'm going to reform this unit of pointy phalanx that's a little bit out of line after having destroyed the Romans on that first go. And sometimes when you run your cavalry through a phalanx, they will kill your own cav. So if you'll notice, I'm going to take my my pointy out of phalanx formation just in case that happens to be the case here. I don't know what causes that, but I've definitely seen it happen, and someone mentioned it the other day, and whenever they mentioned it, I'm like, sure enough, I have seen that before. So, la-di-da-da-da, fast forward, and what's even funnier is by the time the Romans get up here, they're going to be completely worn out and completely unable to fight. So we're going to go into phalanx mode now, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward some more because I'm running short on time. Blah blah blah, here comes the Romans, and they're really their only option is just a front-on assault. And it's going to be completely pointless, of course, especially with cavalry, as pointy have a bonus versus cavalry, not to mention the vantage point of the hill I have here. And here's the Roman leader. We're going to see if he also teaches his men how to take a spear in the face. The Romans seem to be pretty talented at it. So this is probably just an extension of their public school system in their How to Take a Spear in the Face 101 class. Or I guess this is the lab portion of the class. Of course, I'm imagining the computer's probably going to let this Roman general just run away. And how all these men aren't dead already is really kind of a mystery to me. It's probably because they have 2 hit points, being the general's unit.
The Roman eagle is the Roman chicken. Eat the cook's cleaver. The leader runs away!
Oh, that's good. He said it again. I know we were all really happy that once when he said that, and he said it again. I love my Carthaginian commentator, and if you notice there, I actually just killed some of my pointy infantry in a rear charge. I don't see that happen very often in Rome Total War, so that's pretty funny. Anyway, I'm completely out of time. See you later.